Right? All right. Ministry Influence Award. A couple of years ago, I had this guy call me, hey, we need to meet. And I'm like, oh, okay. And since then, I've gotten to hang out with, communicate, and talk with Josip Debeljuh, the recipient of our Ministry Influence Award. Talk about influence. So this is the guy that came to Belhaven to play basketball, that and nothing else. And Christian college didn't have really anything to do with why he came here. So it's been interesting to see where God has led him, and I couldn't be more pleased to recognize Joseph, to see him recognized with this Ministry Influence Award. He serves faithfully in Croatia, his home country, and abroad, preaching, teaching, and discipling others through relational ministry. Using his background in sports, especially basketball, Joe builds bridges to share the gospel and to encourage believers. He is passionate, that's an understatement, about intentional discipleship, walking with others in faith as mature believers once walked with him. And shout out to Coach Connors, who's here tonight. Through Ministry Influence Award, this honors one whose ministry builds the kingdom through faithful service. Joe's life exemplifies relational ministry rooted in love, investing deeply in others just as Christ invests in us. Joseph, please join me at the podium.
Wow, good evening, good evening. I grew up in a dysfunctional family in Croatia. My dad was from a Muslim background. I never been to church. I never met a Christian before I came to Belhaven. And I was a hooper, I was a basketball player. My whole life, until I was 22, it was about basketball. So I got an opportunity to come here, and I was told I'm going to have to attend this chapel thing, which is a Christian thing. And I was like, okay, I'll do whatever I can so I can get out of my situation in Croatia. I came in 1996, I didn't speak any English. Zero. Yep. And Coach Connor, who's here, when I met him first day when I came here, he named me Debeljuh. My wife and my mother-in-law called me Debeljuh. Coach, thank you for the scholarship. I think, the last one. I'm sorry for some of you, I got a full basketball scholarship. I think Dr. Pratt, thank you so much for not recognizing that I had a full scholarship. I was told he had to cut this project down. I had literally no money. I came here with $50. I borrowed $500 to pay for a ticket. So if I had to pay anything else, I couldn't even come. But there were so many people that impacted my life. And I just want to shortly recognize them. And they're here. We'll start, like I said, Coach Connor. Carlo Baglioni, we worked on campus 4 years. Carlo taught me about ethics, how to work hard. And Carlo hosted our son Ben last year, or 2 years ago, while he was going to Hartfield Academy. Carlo, thank you so much for being my friend all these years. I have Tim, my teammate, basketball teammate. Tim, you're always nice to me. Thank you for being a friend all this time. Brianna, thank you guys for coming and being supportive. Jimmy and Ann, I had no money, so I had to work extra. Besides campus, and because I had a visa, I couldn't get paid the first year. So I had people like Jimmy and Ann help me to work at their house, and they've been a friend all these years. I had my friend Jurica, who is from Croatia, came with me. Him and I coach basketball. He's the head coach. He's my boss. I just help him out. And he came here first time 3 days ago. My in-laws, not to forget my wife. I met my wife at Belhaven in 1996. We started dating, and immediately after we went and played Sanford, I think, in Birmingham. I had sprained ankles, I had to have a crutches, I had to meet my father-in-law. And I had an earring. So my girlfriend at the time said, take that off. So my father-in-law took me to McDonald's and he wanted to check me out. Like, where am I? It was spiritual. But then began a journey to get to know Jim and Liz, who have 9 children. My wife and I have 5 children, and I learned so much from my father-in-law, and my mother-in-law is. Wow. Dr. Al Chestnut, many of you know who Dr. Al Chestnut is. He knew me before I was a believer. Dr. Al Chestnut became a mentor in college and all these years until today. He's my mentor, along with his wife Betsy. And when I come to Jackson, that's where I stay primarily. And they weren't able to come because of the previous arrangement. And Neil was supposed to be here. My friend Neil from South Africa. He was here for a moment. Where are you, Neil? Yeah, Neil was my mentor at the beginning. So Neil and Carl and some of these guys can confirm how bad my English was. But anyways, praise God, I met Christ here, and it changed my life. And finally, there's my wife in Croatia, and my 3 kids, Abby, Emma, Leah, my wife Kelly, and there are 2 of my kids present here. And that's my son Ben, who attends Belhaven. He's a sophomore, along with his girlfriend, and my oldest, Mia. She just graduated with American College in Croatia. The reason I wanted to just mention them is because, to me, ministry and life is all about relationship. And since then, all these people have made impact in my life, and they still today are encouraging me and have taught me so much in investing in other people. So I have an opportunity to travel globally to impact or just to build a relationship. And it's a big thing. Just last week, I was told Sergio is leaving our country to go back to Colombia. So I invested in him for a year. I look forward to go seeing him. So I want to encourage all of us, as we're busy, and this is a public ministry, so we've been recognized for public ministry, but my main ministry is investing in people. I love hanging out with people. And Yurica can attest to that. And I just want to encourage all of us to invest as the Lord did, as we see Paul doing it. And yeah, thank you so much for Belhaven, for selecting me as your word. Definitely, it's beyond belief. Thank you so much.